Businessman and attempted murder accused Vusimuzi Cat Matlala is expected to return to the Madlanga Commission in Pretoria this morning. Matlala appeared before the Commission for a day last week, but invoked his right against self-incrimination and refused to answer questions relating to the R228 million Police Service Medicare24 tender. Let's now cross to SABC News anchor Sakina Kamwndo, who is in Pretoria. Sakina, okay, so this time let's hope he doesn't invoke his right to not self-incriminate himself, but who knows? This is what we're waiting to see will happen today. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Leanne. That's unlikely to happen, I would say, given the cases that are still pending. So I think we are perhaps in for more of the same that we saw from Vusimuzi Cat Matlala last week. Remember, he was supposed to appear before the Commission at least for 2 days. It ended up being 1 day, and he is, of course, returning today. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, and we'll see what potentially may not have changed since last week as far as the evidence of Vusimuzi Cat Matlala is concerned. But of course, what we did then see last week was several days of testimony from Fadil Adams, who's of course the leader of the National Coloured Congress and Member of Parliament. And Friday in particular was a rather harrowing day for Fadil Adams at the Madlanga Commission, where there were quite a few contradictions, but also questions regarding some of the evidence, particularly if you think about that Section 27 referral affidavit that Fadil Adams was meant to have given to IDAC that would have invoked their involvement in what then transpired to be the investigation into General Khumalo and others at Crime Intelligence. And we do know, of course, that on Friday, all of those charges were unconditionally withdrawn by the NPA. But what came into question was, of course, IDAC and its handling of that particular Section 27 affidavit. And there were concessions at point where Fadil Adams was seemingly in agreement with Advocate Drew Ramsamy in terms of the contents of the initial Section 27 affidavit, and saying that he, for example, would have mentioned the issue of the forklift, which subsequently then does not appear in the documents that IDAC then continued to use, as I say, in that Section 27 referral affidavit. So you had that matter. Then there was the other matter of when the Orlando case was opened, for example, where he speaks about an Elvis who he was meant to meet. Well, there were quite a few questions about why he chose the Orlando police station to open the case. You'll remember this is subsequent to Adams claiming that his dockets had gone missing from the case that he had opened in Cape Town. Well, the issue around Elvis, initially he had said that he met Elvis at the police station, but then subsequently had to retract because it turns out that he may have met Elvis prior to his arrival at that police station. So those just are some of the contradictions that came up on the day. But then, of course, there was in the afternoon, we saw from the Hawks, this was Lieutenant Colonel Dina Govender, who also testified, and that, of course, changed tact here at the Commission. But interestingly, he spoke about how he had potentially been used as a pawn, or at least that would have been the attention around him implicating Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, and this, of course, by amongst others, Len John, whom of IPID, whom we also saw testify at the Commission. So jam-packed, quite a lot coming out, and of course we'll unpack more of that for you as the morning proceeds. It's back to you, Leanne.